Everyone, you pile in. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today with our presenter, TxDOT. Very excited to have them spending some time with us today. We'll let everybody come into the room and get their seats, get something to drink, and we'll get started here. It promises to be a full show from what I gather, so lots to cover, and we want to make sure and respect your time. So we will go ahead and continue letting, you tell me, Tracy, when we're about ready to go, do you think?
I think we can go ahead and get started. Yeah.
Okay, all righty. Well, hello everyone. My name is Victoria Rodriguez. I'm the Executive Director of the Hispanic Contractors Association, the San Antonio. And joining me is my Assistant Director, Tracy Burns. And I'd like to introduce our board members that are present. I did see Christian Cortez with Bartlett Cock, Fernando Keller with Pro Landscape Solutions. He's actually our Secretary of the Board. Mark Price is with Alamo Colleges. And let's see if I've missed anyone else, Tracy, that I've overlooked.
I don't see that any additional board are on it this time.
All righty. And then I'll move into recognizing our corporate sponsors. At our platinum level, we have HEB, Via Metropolitan, Turner Construction, Central Builders Incorporated, and Equipment Share. At our silver level, we have Bartlett Cock, CPS Energy, JSR Incorporated, Robinson General Contractors, Skanska USA, and Joris General Contractors. And at our bronze level, Zachary Construction, Weber, RDR Flooring Services, Vaughn Construction, Frost Bank, D. Wilson Construction Company, The Blue Book, and Dawson Electric. Thank you to our sponsors, always. And to get to the main event, we have our presenters today from TxDOT. Joining me is Mario Jorge. He is actually the district engineer for the San Antonio District. Welcome, Mario, and please introduce yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mario Jorge, as Victoria mentioned. I'm the district engineer here in San Antonio, and as you all know, our district covers 12 counties. Primarily, obviously, the bulk of the construction projects are in Bexar County, but we do cover the other 11 are kind of surrounding Bexar County as well. I've got a couple of folks with me that are going to help me talk a little bit about what our program looks like for y'all. Leah Jacobson, she's our construction engineer, district construction engineer, so she'll be joining us. And also have Jose Castro, he's our DBE coordinator. So what we hope to do is to give you kind of a three-part presentation. I'm going to talk about our projects that are coming up over the next 2 years for bidding. Leah's going to talk about the pre-qualification process and how you can become a bidder for TxDOT. And then Jose is going to talk about our DBE program if you're not in a DBE program and how you can potentially get in it. So hopefully, again, this is a great opportunity for us to, provide you all some good information. We're always looking to increase our participation levels in our contracting. So when Victoria called me, I was super happy to be part of this group and talk to you a little bit about what we got coming up. We got a lot of work coming up, so it's a great opportunity for a lot of folks. So if you want to, Victoria, I can just get started.
Yes, please.
All righty. So let me.
Let me just. I forgot to say one thing that I had clarified with you. We are going to let them run through the entire presentation and take question and answer at the end, and that'll be mostly through the chat or the Q&A function, either one. But we are going to let them run through the entire presentation first. So thanks, everyone. Go ahead, Maya.
I would just say if someone has a question during it, just to post their questions in the Q&A, and then it'll be addressed at the end.
Okay, so hopefully everybody can see my screen. There's a TxDOT update screen. Everybody see that? We're good. All right, so let me get started. So, and maybe a little slow here. Okay, so first thing I wanted to talk to you all was about safety and traffic safety specifically. And this is just a quick commercial for a new program we have going on, but it's one that I hope you all get to see in the field, in operation. And if you do see them, you'll know what they're up to. But we started what we call a HERO program, which is a highway emergency response operation. It already started this past month. It's a 4-year program that's funded with our MPO and local participation from City of San Antonio, Bexar County, and ourselves. So the duties for these trucks will be to relocate minor crashes. They're going to assist stranded motorists, clear any lane debris. We'll be covering 240 miles of basically all of our freeway miles with about a 20-minute response time. And then we'll have full coverage on Monday through Friday from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then we'll have some limited coverage on the weekends and nights. And so, again, pretty excited about that. This phase is what we started with about 3 weeks ago. You can I-10, 281, 35, 410, and the downtown area. That was our phase 1. We are now into phase 2, which includes a little bit more on the south side with 410, 35, and as well as 1604 on the north side. And then phase 3 will basically be the same routes, but we'll be doing the nights and weekends. And we anticipate phase 3 to start pretty soon. So again, really excited about this program. We feel like it's going to be a huge safety benefit for our region. The intent obviously is to prevent those secondary crashes that happen when you have someone that's stuck in the lane. So,
Mario, can I
yes,
just a proud moment, mama moment? One of our members, Tone Custom Signs, is actually doing those trucks. Some of your trucks.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I just saw them the other day. It's pretty exciting. They look great.
That is great to hear that. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Thank you guys. Thank you all for helping us on the program. So yeah, we're excited. This is going to be a huge safety benefit for everybody. All right. So let's talk construction. So right now we've got about 208 active projects, 141 of them in construction. The total active contracts that we have is over $2 billion, about $2.1 billion in construction, about $70 million in maintenance. And we use consultant engineering inspection service on 45 of those projects. So again, it's we're trying to balance our workload with our staff and consultant engineers. Only the Houston district has more work than we have here in San Antonio, which is really important. And again, that's why I kind of want to bring it up. It's important for us to recruit more contractors into our business. Real quick, here's our area offices and our traffic office, just so you can see the level of workload. We've tried to balance out the workload a little bit. The 2 big area offices are in Bexar County. Sergio runs one, and Eddie actually retired this past month, so we're in the process of replacing him. So those are the 2 offices in Bexar County, and you can see the amount of work they have, about $600 million each. Will Lockett is our area engineer in New Braunfels. Kristen is our area engineer in Hondo. Marshall is our area engineer in Kerrville, and Dale is our district traffic engineer. So his office does all the traffic related contracts. So just wanted to kind of let's see how our workload fairly well distributed. Trying to keep everybody busy. Okay, so let's talk projects. So I'm going to talk about some of the big projects, and then I'm going to talk about some of the smaller projects. And you get a feel that we've got all kinds of different types of projects that are coming up for bids. So this first one here is I-35, and this is the segment from AT&T Parkway to FM 1103. It's essentially constructing 2 elevated lanes. There'll be 2 general purpose lanes and 1 HOV lane in each direction. We'll also have improvements to the interchanges at 410 South, 410 North, and also at 1604. The total estimated construction cost is $2.8 billion, and we've got 2 projects that are funded that will be going out first. So there's 3 segments. The central segment, which is from 410 North to 3009, that's a $1.6 billion project. That's funded. We're actually in the process of doing a design build procurement. So you could potentially get notified from one of our proposers. They're going to need subcontractors. They're going to need materials. They're going to need hauling. They're going to need all kinds of support. So right now we're working with our proposers for a design bid a design build contract, and we're anticipating in January to receive the proposals from those proposals. So that's the central project. The south project is from 410 South to 410 North. That's $900 million. That is fully funded for construction. We haven't started the design build procurement, so that may take a little while before we actually start that design build procurement, maybe a year or so, but be on the lookout for that. Again, there's a huge mega projects that require a lot of support, so there'll be a lot of opportunities on those. And then the third segment, which is the north segment from 3009 to 1103, that's a $320 million project that we will be doing a design bid build procurement, although that one is not yet funded, so we can't really give you a specific date when that will go out for bids. Okay, let's switch gears to 1604, and I'm gonna go through all these real fast. I apologize, but if you got any questions at the end, let me know. So 1604 is a corridor that we wanna expand from 16 all the way to 35. You see the expansion right there. We're gonna add basically 3 lanes in each direction, 2 general purpose lanes and 1 HOV lane. It's over $1 billion worth of projects. We have funding for about $700 million. So what you're gonna see is you're gonna see 3 projects that go out for bids this coming year, from State Highway 16 to I-10, bids in April. It's about $180 million. From I-10 to 281, bids in June. That's another $200 million. And then the I-10 interchange at 1604 will bid in November, and that's a $275 million project. So that's the interchange. This is the interchange I-10 1604 as it looked when we were building it, and back in the 1980s. It looks the same now. We haven't done anything to it. So the plan is to turn it into this, and so it's going to be a really exciting project. Again, that lets next November. All right, so then let's shift over to I-10 East. So we've got another major corridor that we're trying to expand on I-10 on the east side, from 410 all the way out to, eventually we'll get out to tie in with the Houston district. But so there's a few segments that we've got under construction. Again, what we're going to do is add an extra lane to I-10 and also convert the frontage roads to one-way. The whole corridor is about $1.2 billion. We've got funding, about half of it funded right now. So there are 3 projects under construction from 410 to 1604. Those are the main lane expansion that Weber Construction is doing. 1604 into Greytown, that's the frontage road construction we're doing. And that's, I'm sorry, that's also main lane expansion to Greytown, and that's until 2023. That's already started. And then we get from Greytown to the county line, and that's already been let. That begins the fall of 2020. So those are the 3 that are under construction. We've got 2 other segments that are funded that will be coming out for bids in next year. One of them next year from the county line to 465. That's in September next year. And then 464 to 123 in Seguin will be in January of 22. And then of course we got some phases still remaining subject to funding. So a lot of work coming up on I-10 East. I-10 410, that interchange, we've got two phases, 2 segments, if you will. The first segment is funded, and we will begin construction. We'll go out for bids in March of 2021. We estimate it to be about $100 million. And that's gonna be basically constructing 2 direct connectors, westbound I-10 to southbound 410 and northbound 410 to eastbound I-10. And then the phase 2 will complete the interchange, and this will allow us to really be able to fit everything on the east side, kind of complete everything on the east side. The second phase is $857 million. It's not funded, so we'll be working on funding for that, and we anticipate that to be a design build project. Okay, so this is just a quick summary of everything I just told you in table form. Again, I'm not gonna spend too much time going over this. I just kind of went through all of this. But you can see how we're laid out our major projects over the next couple of years. Okay, so what we do besides major projects, what we do obviously a lot of different things. So we've got some projects. We've got one on 1103. They're in the Cibolo and Schertz area, and it's an expansion from I-35 down to Rodeo Way. That's a $39.5 million project. That's a curb and gutter expansion with storm sewer, race median, traffic signals, the works. We got a small project on 410 from Valley High to Pearsall Road. That's to change some of the ramp, revise some of the ramps, reconstruct some of the frontage roads. That's about a $20 million project. And then there's some local projects that are kind of, they work through us from a funding standpoint, but the county will be actually the one doing these, or some of the cities, so I listed them there. And then in 2022, we've got some other projects that we're working on. The expansion of Culebra Road on the west side from old 471 to 211. That's a $25 million project. It includes an overpass at 211, which is $7.5 million out of that, the 25. 1516 on the east side, we'll be expanding that from 78 to I-10. 1560 in the northwest side, from Culebra to Gulm or Shanefield, that's an expansion that will be coming up, about a $12 million project. We got a project on 46 in Verde that's about a $40 million project to expand that highway across 281. And then we have some expansion of 1604 on the southwest side. That's about a $40 million. That's to go to a 4-lane divided. So those are some other added capacity projects that are coming up. So if you look at our pavement related projects, these are a little bit, so we spread them out to overlays, rehab, or seal coat. And so you can see the numbers here. These are the dollars that we've kind of allocated for each of these categories for the next 2 years, and the number of centerline miles that we'll be doing. These are pavement related projects. If you look at kind of the rest of the type of projects, we have safety projects. A lot of these are adding guardrail, adding safety and treatments. These are really good projects that can work very well for a smaller contractor. They're usually going to be, like I said, a lot less expensive. But we've got about $55 million worth of projects there, and of course there are multiple projects. And in 21 and then 22 we got 15. Traffic management, so these are like your ITS, traffic signals, that kind of stuff. You can see the numbers here for the next couple of years. We do a lot of bridge replacements. A lot of these are small bridge replacements. And some of them are off of the state system. They're on county roads, city streets. Some of them are on the state system. So we'll have some of those. I mentioned the added capacity. Those are the big projects that I went over. We do have some interchange and operational improvements. Again, these are also large projects. We've got some miscellaneous projects, and then locally, I mentioned the local projects that are not necessarily led by TxDOT, but by the locals. So you can see there's a whole lot of different types of projects. These are just a quick map of our overlay, rehab, and seal coats for the next year, 2021. Pretty well spread. Most of the seal coat work is outside of Bexar County, and then some of the overlays will be in Bexar County, and then the rehab really can happen pretty much anywhere. We do a lot of rehabs in the energy sector, which you see down here on the east side. And then this is 2022, same type of project. So again, you can see where our seal coats, overlays, and rehabs are. This last slide is just real quick to show you how the funding worked for us. So there's two levers here that our commission can kind of control. And one is, okay, so this funnel represents our planning process. We have a number of projects that go into our 10-year plan, which you see here. So the commission controls this valve as to how many projects we'll be able to put in our 10-year plan based on a fiscal, on the financial projections. And then the one that really counts for you guys is this one here, the second one, the bottom one, which is our operational cash forecast. And this is where the projects are in the 1 to 4 years. A lot of the projects I just went over, the commission controls that valve to see, okay, how much cash flow do we have to actually go and bid projects for construction. So that's kind of how we operate from a funding standpoint. Right now, our cash flow is still good, even with COVID. I think we're still in good shape. So a lot of these projects that I talked about should stay on track for us. But anyway, that was my presentation. I'm gonna end here and toss it over to Leah so she can talk about the pre-qualification process.
Do you see my screen? Okay, great. Okay, so I'm here today to talk to you guys about pre-qualification, and that happens in construction division. So how do you get to the information? First, you go to our TxDOT.gov website, choose business. Under contractors, you'll see pre-qualification. And there are 2 questionnaires that you are to fill out: the confidential questionnaire as well as the bidder's questionnaire.
Leah, can you increase your screen, or I think presentation mode possibly? Because I only see it kind of smaller. It's not taking up the.
Okay. Let me do, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I want to be able to see the whole. It's fine, dear.
Do you see it large?
Yes. No, I think it's fine. Go ahead. We'll work with it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Tracy, does she need to be in presentation mode, or is it?
It should be presentation mode at the,
Okay.
so Leah, it's still showing as if you're,
Editing it.
if you're in edit mode. So at the bottom.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
Okay.
jump into another
it's
screen.
going to my second screen,
Oh,
which
okay.
is large, but it's,
Maybe
Okay.
if you opened it in presentation mode and then shared your screen and shared it to the presentation, maybe. I'm not sure.
okay.
I think we're good. I didn't want to.
Sorry, technical difficulties, everybody.
Yeah.
Want to make sure everybody can see what she's got on her screen.
I think the key is that you have a dual screen, and sometimes that can, yeah.
So I just saw you.
I have triple screen, actually.
Oh my goodness.
That's why. Okay, let's
That'll
see
be
if
good.
it's actually going to,
Okay, we'll just go with it. It's fine.
okay.
Okay. Bravo. Got it. Okay, go ahead, dear.
Okay, so there's two questionnaires to fill out: confidential questionnaire and a bidder's questionnaire. So the contractors must be pre-qualified to work for the highway department. The subcontractors do not. The bidding capacity is determined. TxDOT will determine that, and there's different factors for that. And qualification lasts for 1 year from submission date. The confidential questionnaire, which is the first one, it's a standard requirement. It requires audited financial statements. Again, bidding capacity is derived from the contractor's net working capital multiplied by a factor determined by the department. The bidder's questionnaire, which is the second one, this can be waived on projects. Waived projects, you will see that when you go to get a proposal. It will have a W, but it's usually for small construction, routine maintenance, emergency, and specialty projects. And the bidding capacity is 300,000. That's the default. Completing the questionnaire. So the questionnaire you choose must be read. It requires financial data, just like we said. Financial statements are required, and it must be done by a CPA. Bidding capacity is set solely based on the qualifying entity's financial data. The time frame. You must submit the pre-qualification paperwork 10 days in advance of bid. If financial statements are included, they must be prepared by a CPA firm. Upon receipt, TxDOT will reach out and speak to you and walk you through the process. You have to file under assumed name certificate, and you need to be registered with the Texas Secretary of State. CPA license, that's required for all the financial information. And how do you find out If your firm has a CPA license, there is a website that you can use. So we do have an electronic bidding system, which is really great. So during the qualification process, you will be given an account, and this allows the contractors to request the bid authorizations, and you can submit your bids electronically. The bidding system is called Integrated Contractor Exchange. From what I understand, it has a lot of different things that helps the contractor. No setup required. It's really easy to use. It has alerts and notification. In division, they call it the vault. So that's available to contractors. We do also allow paper bids. If a contractor would like to submit paper bids, they would have to either mail it, or normally contractors like to physically drop it into a mailbox that is located on Riverside in Austin. If you have any questions, refer them to Construction Division. They will be the ones that will officially answer any questions about pre-qualification. And that's the end of my presentation. And now Jose will talk about the DBE program.
Can y'all view this or not?
We see you, but not your screen yet.
Okay, hold on. Can you see that?
Yes, it's starting. Yes.
Okay, okay, great. Good afternoon, everybody. Again, thank you for the invite. Before I get started, I would like to give credit to Mr. Joe Sanchez. He's with our certification office in Austin. And I was asked to present on DBE certification, not my area of expertise, but I'll take a poke at this. My main job, as Mr. Jorge referred to me earlier, I'm the DB coordinator for the district. And my main function is compliance, not necessarily certification. However, I do get a lot of calls, some calls from existing DBEs as well as new firms that want to be DB certified. And I try to fill those questions as much as I can. If I can't, I refer them either to the certifying agency here in San Antonio or to our civil rights office in Austin. So again, I do want to express my thanks to Joe Sanchez for this slide that he loaned me.
Can we just go into, I'm sorry, Jose, but into presentation mode so we can see it larger?
Oh, okay.
Or it's fine. I'm not sure. It's fine. It's fine, dear. It's good.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. The regulations that govern the entire DBE program are found in 49 CFR Part 26. Everything that's related to the DBE program, you'll find in these regulations, including the certification, including compliance for DBE program requirements. Definition of a DBE is going to be a for-profit business that is at least 51% owned by one or more individuals for both socially and economically disadvantaged. Socially economically disadvantaged individuals must possess a power to control the management, decision-making, and day-to-day operations of the business. And the second bullet is important because that's one of the things that we look for in compliance when DBEs are working on our TxDOT projects here in the district. The objectives of the DBE program is to ensure non-discrimination, create a level playing field, ensure that the DBE program is narrowly tailored, ensure only eligible firms are permitted to participate, help remove barriers to participation, promote the use of DBEs in all fairly assisted contracts and procurements, and to assist in the development of firms that can compete successfully in the marketplace. So on the last bullet, prime contractors, are authorized and can take advantage of trying to provide mentorship to DB firms that are starting up on their projects. So it's important that that not only does TxDOT provide a helping hand and provide assistance and guidance to make sure we get DB certified, make them successful, but it also falls upon the prime contractor to assist those firms within certain parameters without violating rules or guidelines in promoting successful DBEs to work in our projects. DBE eligibility requirements is be an independent business. 3-year average gross receipts must not exceed $23.98 million for highway construction firms and less for other work categories. One of the things that the certified agencies look at closely is the personal net worth of individuals, and that must not exceed $1.32 million. So one of the complaints and concerns that I get sometimes from small firms that I meet in the community is sometimes they don't want to go through the DB certification because of all the paperwork that we require, and it's kind of unfortunate we cannot get around that requirement. The comment that I get is I don't want the federal government to be into my business more than they have to be. But again, we do take privacy very important. We are required to collect a lot of paperwork, a lot of private and personal information, financial information in the certification process. Unfortunately, that's, we have to abide by those rules, and hopefully that we can make the transition or make the DB certification process as less intrusive as possible for a lot of our small contractors. The TCP is a certification program for the federal DBE program in Texas. The program exists throughout the country, not just Texas. DBE certification received from any of the TCP members is valid and can be accepted by any Texas entity that receives USDOT funds. So here in Texas, we have 6 certifying agencies. We're one of those. City of Houston, City of Austin, Corpus Christi, North Central Texas, and South Texas Central. South Central Texas is a certifying agency that oversees certification here in the San Antonio area. TCP offers a one-stop shopping to applicant firms. One application, one process, and one decision that is binding upon all TCP certifying partners. So the gray area in the map is what TxDOT is responsible for, those areas for companies that are located in for certification purposes. So as you can see, the white area, that would be South Central Texas Certifying Agency. They handle about a 12-county area. Again, the remainder of the state is addressed or taken care of by civil rights in Austin, Texas. So, okay. So one of the concerns that I do receive from time to time since I've been here at the district from small companies is the time allotted or that takes to certify. To be certified, and normally that rule is roughly around 90 days. Sometimes it does go over the 90 days, sometimes less than 90 days, but that is probably the average time that it would take for a firm to get DB certified. So, I do get calls periodically saying it's taking too long to get certified, and now with COVID, the waiting time is even longer. So. Again, we ask companies, to be patient with the certifying agencies, including civil rights in Austin, as they progress through this COVID-19 protocols. And right now, and my understanding, there's a big backlog on certification, and that's not only new certification but also renewals. So agencies are required to do a renewal on every DBE firm. So that just adds to the workload. So anyway, as far as trying to get certified, we have a system called a diversified management system, and that's that site is also located in this at this TxDOT website. And it says, as you can see in the arrow, you may apply for a DBE or ACDBE certification using TxDOT's diversity management system. The ACDBE program is related to airports, and the DBE is related to our construction projects, highway construction projects. So that's so companies can go in there. You can access the TUCP website at this location. You can also Google TxDOT TUCP, and it will bring up the TUCP website as well. So this is our diversified management system. It's been in existence since early 2017. And so when you access the DMS system, this is the first thing you'll be looking at. There'll be a search directory, and as you can see in that yellow arrow, a company can apply for certification and renewals by clicking on that link. As I mentioned earlier, all DBs are required to do annual renewals, so that is a requirement. It's a simple, process. The renewals do not require on-site visits, such as is required for new certification. So this is our DMS system. One of the things I'd like to express here is that on the Federal Highway 8 projects, beginning back in February 2017, do require that any contractor and subcontractor that are going to participate in our projects, they are required to use the DMS system. There's no options other than, that is a requirement. So any organization, any company for the prime contractor or subcontractor, particularly a DBE subcontractor, they are required to use the DMS system. So it's a good idea to get familiar with the system, because it will be required during the construction phase of a project. So this slide does also have to do with getting certified. It shows here once you apply, once you click on getting certified, it will take you to this field in DMS, and it'll it's a simple process of just going through the steps and completing the necessary questions. So and this is how you create an account also in DMS. A very simple process. It's all built in within the DMS system, and so not very difficult to navigate. It's really very, very customer friendly. Okay. DMS again. This is on our construction division website. And this website is available to the public. So, okay, and here shows a slide where we conduct searches on companies. I use this myself all the time. So one of the requirements that TxDOT has, every district has, is that when a prime contractor sends a subcontract for approval to have this certain subcontract work in our project, one of the first things we do is make sure that we screen for DBE certification. The reason for this is that TxDOT gets credit on every single DBE that works on our TxDOT projects. So one of the things we do upon approving a subcontractor to work on our projects, we screen them to make sure, are they DB certified or not? And that goes, and once we identify a firm that's DB certified, we go to certain requirements, and one of those requirements will be to have that DBE register or use the DMS system. And in the DMS system, the prime contractor not only reports the DB payments to that DBE participating on that project, but the DBE also has the ability to confirm payment on for that month that they work. So, so again, we use this tool very diligently to make sure we screen for all subcontractors. Are they a DBE or not? A lot of times the prime may not be aware that a firm is DB certified. So, so that's part of the district's job, is to screen for this. So, and anyone can screen, can use this tool, the DMS system, to screen a company to see if they're DB certified. Do they have other types of certifications? Do they have a hub certification, for example? Or do they have an SBE certification, small business enterprise certification? So we use basically in our construction sites, we use SBE certifications, and we use DB certifications as well. Categories for searching the TCP directory. These are the several categories how you can do a search. I basically use the business name, and and TCP is so easy to use. Very fast for the most part. It's the DMS TCP directory that I use. Well, let me back up. I use a TCP directory that's embedded in DMS, and so when I do a search by name, it's actually the system is searching for companies all across the country, not just here in Texas. So we may have a company that goes by a certain name here in Texas. Well, that company may also have a name in a different state, not necessarily the same company, but they have very similar names. So so that's one of the advantages, as far as I can see, using DMS to do a directory search in TUCP for a company. So and it's important to note too that a lot of companies that have been working in Texas for the past, I would say, probably going back to about 2008, 2009. We have a lot of companies from outside of Texas that do business here in Texas. So so either they open up field offices, and their corporate office may be in North Carolina or Ohio or somewhere else. But again, it's a very extensive database. So it's good to get familiar with this database, either by use, either for the use of the prime contractor or a subcontractor, as well as certifying agencies, including us here at TxDOT. Benefits: increased business exposure, business profile listed in the DB directory. Bid as a DB at participating in city, county, state, and local governments or on TxDOT funded projects. I think, as Mario had mentioned, we have a lot of contract funding for local governments. So local governments, can use this database, DMS, can use the DBE to satisfy DB requirements on their locally funded projects. Those funds come through TxDOT, and they do have DB requirements. So when a local government applies for a project with federal funds that comes through TxDOT, they do have DB gold requirements. So, okay, DB certification is recognized nationwide, and DBs have the opportunity to participate in a variety of supportive service training, technical assistance, and business development programs. So those are some of the benefits of the DB program. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of firms don't want to go through the requirements of providing a lot of paperwork to Uncle Sam, or to TxDOT as part of the DB certification process. However, it's we have people that are working in Austin at CIV, civil rights, that are very familiar with the certification process, trying to make it as painless as possible. Also like to note that from the compliance side, which again is my area of expertise, I always try to remind new DBEs and existing DBEs of all the federal requirements. So it's not just a matter of, trying to get certified for DBE, but also, making sure that, they have the capacity to work on our TxDOT projects. One of the concerns that I get quite frequently from our local subcontract community is, okay, I've gotten DB certified, but I have such a difficult time getting a contract with TxDOT. And so, the advice I give them is make sure, you read the proposals that are online, make sure who's letting, when the lets are being held, find out who gets awarded the contract. If you don't get selected by the prime contractor as part of the DB commitments up front at the time that the let is announced or the low bidder is announced, you still have an opportunity to work on those projects. Make yourself known to the prime contractor, who you are, your capacity, your experiences, and just do your best to do a good sales job with those prime contractors so that they know who you are and try to get into those, try to get part of that contract. The other thing too is make sure that as a DB firm or as any firm, doesn't have to be DB or not, working on our projects, that again, that you do have the expertise and the know-how, and you have the equipment, you have the personnel to work on those projects. Projects move real fast, and so so your part in the project is a small subcontractor. The contractor, TxDOT, is very dependent on doing your part on the project, and the last thing TxDOT wants to hear, or the contractor wants to hear, is that the project is being delayed because of so-and-so, so can I do remind small businesses such as DBEs, just make sure that when you're applying for a contract that you read the proposal, what is it that I'm required to do? What part of the project am I going to perform? Know how to read the project plans, read the requirements, read the regulations, the special provisions that are embedded in the proposal. So I do have to remind DBs, particular DBEs, did you read your contract with the prime contractor? There is a special provision that addresses your concern, addresses your complaint. These are TxDOT provisions that are passed on to the prime contractor, and the contractor passes them on to the subcontractors. So it's all in the subcontract. It's in the proposal. So I frequently find small subcontractors don't read their subcontracts with the prime contractor. So again, just a reminder, that it's not just a matter of getting certified as a DBE, but reading those proposals. Do I really want to go after this project? Do I want to be part of this project? And then reading all the requirements, all the special provisions that are in a requirement, not just DBE special provisions, but a whole slew of provisions. Those are very important, and it's tough to navigate all this paperwork, all these requirements, for a small business who's doing business with TxDOT for the very first time. So it takes a lot of experience, and to know your way around. But again, just want to leave you with that one last note. And if you have any questions on certification, this is the website, the phone number. We have 2 people doing certification for TxDOT in those areas that are not covered by the certifying agencies that we discussed earlier. And those individuals are Joe Sanchez and Christina. I can't remember her last name now, but it's Christina. Anyway, but the main person is Joe Sanchez. He can address any concerns you have about certification, not only for DBE but for Hub, as well as for small business enterprise certification as well. So these are the certifications that, again, TxDOT uses on many of its projects and businesses that we conduct throughout the state. And I think I'm done.
Thank you. Mario, you were, it looked like you were answering these questions. Should we read them or it's just going to be on the
Sure.
written record? Okay.
Sure. I mean, I was trying. Yeah, that's probably a good idea because make sure Leah can correct me on a couple of things. I was trying to be. As you can tell, she's the overachiever in this group. She has three. I only have one small laptop, so I'm always going to defer to her on technical stuff.
Okay. Well,
So yeah, let's go over the answers to make sure I didn't say anything wrong.
yeah, so the first one, Richard Tovar asked, will there be contract or subcontract opportunities for HR management, small businesses? And
I mean,
Leah?
HR management is not something we really contract out. Obviously, some of the smaller contractors and subcontractors may. So yeah, there's probably opportunities there with them. We will know. That's not something we get into their business.
Which I guess is to Jose's point about actually reaching out directly to whatever GC is awarded. That I think that's a great tip. Richard also asked, will TxDOT consider an unsolicited proposal? And that was you, Mario.
Yeah, I answered that one. I think my response is, since we're no longer doing toll projects, at this point, we're not accepting unsolicited proposals. So only when we put something out for a proposal, either through a design bid or design bid build.
Okay. And then the pre-qualification process is only for construction contractors. Has TxDOT considered a pre-qual for service providers?
Yeah, this is probably one I'm not the expert in, so I'm gonna, we have a pre-qualification process for construction. We have a pre-qualification process for engineering services. As far as any other services, and we do quite a few vendors for facilities, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, you name it. That I'm not really the expert there, but if you're certified through the state of Texas to do that type of work, through the comptroller's office or however you set up as a business, then you'll be fine with us. We still would work through the bidding process on those, and we have a certain procurement process we have to follow.
Okay. Fernando Keller asks, is TxDOT looking for the best value, i.e. lowest bidders?
Yeah, so this is a real interesting question, and he followed up with a follow-up to my response, and so we have the only best value approach we have is for design build. Qualifications and bid, are both considered. All other projects are done through a low bid process, and that's by state law. It's not something that we can change. So I wish I had a say-so in contractors sometimes, but with the state law, which is a low bidder.
Yeah, and I guess his follow-up, sorry, sent earlier, the most qualified. It's a lot of money, time. So this is to Jose's point, a lot of money, time,
Right.
personal information to obtain. So when we lose a bid, not because we weren't the most qualified, it's because we weren't the cheapest. So that's state law. You're saying not really.
Right. We can't really, right. We can't change that. Now, again, if a contractor form and gets defaulted, and then we build some history with a particular contractor, they may lose their ability to bid. But generally speaking, we have to go with a low bidder.
And then Fernando also asked, are you requiring performance bonds and proposal bonds for these types of projects? If so, are there any limits?
Yeah, so this is where maybe Leah can help me a little bit. So yeah, so our projects require both performance and payment bonds. That's on most projects, really all construction projects. We do have some maintenance projects where they're small enough that we won't have the same type of bond requirements. So if we waive it, as if it's a waive project, small project, then we won't have the same bonding requirements. Best advice I can give you all is, whatever project you're interested in bidding, take a look at those. The requirements are in the contract. They may change a little bit on the smaller projects, but generally, yeah, our construction projects will all have payment and performance.
Leah, do you need to add to that, or that's good? Okay. Okay. And then Fernando's asking, for smaller companies that are already certified across the board, who might necessarily want to build a highway but work with TxDOT on smaller projects, are there any systems or personnel in place to help these smaller companies get started?
Yeah, this is an excellent question, and I don't know. I mean, other than just working with us, obviously, yes, once you get a bid, then we would be willing to provide information and things like that. But as far as a system or a program, I'm not aware of one. Leah, do you or Joe? I mean, do y'all have a? If you get a project with us, we expect to be able to do the work, but we will help you along. If there's questions about paperwork, about documentation, about, things, material on hand and stuff like that, we will provide that information to y'all. But as far
Well, then,
as,
well, then he asked, so do you have a list of prime contractors with TxDOT that are looking for small? So that was kind of to what Jose was saying about
Yeah.
networking.
and we can
really.
provide that.
Okay, okay.
And we'll provide
that-
it to you, Victoria.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
because that to me is what we, part of this association, believe in, which is obviously the networking.
Right.
And it seems like once these companies are getting different projects, those are identified now as maybe the ones that our members need to reach out to and network with, is what I was hearing today.
Yes,
Yeah,
if you, yeah, so if we go to a lot of DBE conferences, so I'll send it over to you, Mario and Victoria, but basically we have a how-to. So really what you have to do is look at our bidding schedule every month, see what prime contractors are pulling proposals, because those are the ones that are more than likely going to place a bid. And that's how you would, and then you can make contact with each prime that has pulled a proposal. And you can also look at the proposal, look at what type of work it is, see if it's a best fit for you, and then reach out to that prime. Some prime contractors do have like a open house if they have a large project. So Mario brought up 1604. He also brought up 35 design build. You may want to look and put your ear to the ground, and we can find out too. Maybe that prime contractor will have a open house to attract disadvantaged business. That did happen a couple of years ago with Williams Brothers. They rented a hotel and invited whoever was interested to give their cards to see what type of construction work that they do, and then they would, I guess, keep them in mind. But really, it's the primes that would initiate that, not necessarily TxDOT. We're
And if
more
you're-
of a knowledge,
Right.
spreading knowledge.
Okay. And if you're a prime, well then, yeah. Richard Tovar has the question, DBE certification benefits include providing support services, yet it appears it is only in subcontracting opportunities. The DOT DBE program was created to provide equal prime contracting opportunities. However, seems it is only if you are in construction. Is this correct?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, construction is what we do. So that's really
Yeah.
all we can refer to. But I do understand the DB program, other
Because
city or county or state expenditures. Primary expenditure is construction. So, but it does apply to our engineering services as well. So yeah, it applies across the board. Now, when we do the maintenance type, like facility type contracts, those are state contracts only. They're not federal contracts. So the DBE is not really what applies. Is the hub. So, but for those contracts, when we do out a big HVAC or big roofing project for one of our facilities, they will have HUB requirements. So those are state funded. Those are not federal funded. Anything that's construction, that's not highway construction, is going to be more likely state funded, and then we will follow up with the requirements.
okay.
Also,
Requirements are there for multiple.
I have an added response to that. Also, as I mentioned in my presentation, there are DBE goals also on airport concessionaries, and so it may be maybe a business located inside the airport, small business. So there may be some DB goals in those projects as well. So in addition to vertical building that may be occurring on an airport or maybe a runway, all that of course would be construction, right? But and there may be a small business that's inside the airport that that may have a DB goal, So, and for more information on that here in San Antonio, probably be best individual firms contact the city of San Antonio, and they have the airport I guess department, and they'll have a DB goal or more DB information for those type of projects or funding, federal funding for those areas. So.
Well, I think this is definitely a start of a longer conversation, and obviously in person, we could network you all with the people that have these questions. But I mean, I know I've learned something today. I hope they have as well, because everyone has a different system, and it's just trying to kind of understand where to get into that system.
One thing that I forgot to mention, I think might be of importance, particularly for businesses that want to get into highway construction. So one of the changes that was made back in March, and it's now a requirement. So if a project's being led, and I have 4 or 5 prime contractors that are bidding for the project. So one of the requirements now is letting is that now I'm required to submit my DB commitments, to TxDOT. So, if I would say about 95% of our TxDOT construction projects have DB goals. So, if I'm going to bid on a project, I'm required now to submit a list of DBE I'm going to use to satisfy that DB project. So that's not a requirement for all the bidders. Prior it was just a low bidder that had to submit, that list of DBs they're going to use. So that's, again, as Leah was mentioned, it's important that you look into, see what's being led down the road, and see who's letting, and prime contractors bidding on that, and each one's required to submit a list of their DBs they're going to use to satisfy the goal. So just plan ahead, be on top of that information, and like I say, you're gonna be successful in getting the DB that gets selected. But the more information you have, I think it would be advantageous.
Just one. Ross Mitchell with VIA, he wanted to mention VIA has a DBE program for commercial construction goods and services, engineering and architectural. So that's a good reminder. Mario, I know when we first kind of came together to talk about this, we know it's kind of just the beginning of a conversation. So I think this is a great start. I want to be respectful of your time and everyone's time that joined us today. And so I just want to say thank you very much, and we hope to get to know y'all better, see you more often in person, hopefully. I thank you for your input. We will have this recording. We'll get it sent out to members and those that requested it. So thank y'all again. If there's nothing else that you want to add, Mario, do you? Okay.
Thank you for having us, Victoria. I appreciate it. This has been awesome. I think great opportunity for us again to reach out to the contracting community, and like I said, we're always trying to get new contractors in our business. I think there's opportunities, a number of projects we have, and so yeah, absolutely. So thank you very much, and we'll definitely keep the conversation going.
Fantastic. Thank y'all. Have a good day. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.